Yay. Welcome to another episode of Miracle Magical Moments. I am Daniela DeCastro, and this is my beautiful co-host. You want to introduce yourself?
Catherine Barajas Bjork, which is a mouthful. So the crazy red-haired lady, or just Catherine. And as we can all see, the humidity is giant today.
You know what? You say that, and guys, before we jumped on, I'm like in love with her. She's so gorgeous, and I just so appreciate you, like inside and out. But you're sparkling today, my love. So you can say whatever you want about yourself, but you're sparkling.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's a magical in her. She's got, what do you call it? The wee people or something like that? What is the Irish call the magical folk?
Oh yeah, I think it is the wee folk or
The
something.
wee
I don't
folk.
know. Something like that.
And someone like you,
The
I think they
fae.
say a fae or something like that.
Yeah, the fae.
Yeah, we both have Irish in us, and I definitely feel like we're connected to the fairies and things of that and magical. I'm very grounded, but I think you have definitely had a lot of magical experiences, but we'll do that another day.
That's right. Yes, we'll talk all about fairies. So
So today we wanted to discuss, we came up with this. We thought it was a really good idea, and I definitely still struggle with it. It's give ourselves permission to play. And I'm pretty sure Catherine struggles with this as well on a daily basis.
yes, for sure.
And we were talking about as much inner work that we do on ourselves. And believe me, I think I play more than most people. That was pointed out by my daughter saying, "You got a pretty good life." And I do. I start the day off, like I try to get out the door as quickly as possible, go into the woods to go for my hour and a half walk, which I'm trying to increase to 2 hours. And how many people get to do that?
I don't know. Not, I don't know. I know I can't do that right now because well, just all the my kids are home and um other responsibilities that take over. So I may have the good intentions to get out there and go and do it. So but I think as we get older, we lose the ability to just go and play. Like um, I love a good slide. There used to be the slide. There was a playground that's not very far from our house, and there it used to have a really great slide, and then they took that slide out and put another one in, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with the other one? I like the other one, but I used to love to swing, but after having kids, my equilibrium is all goofy. So
Mhm.
every time I get on a swing, it really makes me nauseous. So, um, you know,
Oh, that's sad.
isn't it? I know it's terrible, but I just can't go anymore. Like I can get on it and just move a little bit. And sometimes I get really frustrated and so I'll just go anyway. But then I get off the swing and I'm like, why the heck did I do that? Now I feel horrible. I just really wanted to. So
It's funny, I forgot how much I love the swings. I definitely love slides. Who doesn't? But it's been a while, and I did go down with my kids. You know what I mean? Like I would
right,
go
yeah.
play. Yeah,
Yeah, who doesn't love a good slide? So
yeah. And I just recently bought a bicycle because, yeah, I'm walking, but I wanted to have more fun. And to me, I love just
oh,
the,
riding a bike is so
oh,
lovely. I
it's
need to get one too. I don't have
free, right? Like the
one.
air going through you. I don't do motorcycles. My parents were very much against it, even though I found out late in life my father had one when he was a teenager. But I can understand it, that freeing experience.
Yeah.
So I just, you brought up to me the other day the shoulders and the shouldas. And it's funny because I caught myself saying I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and I was like, "Whoa!" Your voice literally came into my head, and I heard exactly what you said, and I had a hard time just being and doing what I wanted to do at that moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is hard because like sometimes I really want to write. Like if I get I get the I don't know, the bug or the whatever it is, that suddenly I have to write like right now. And I really want to drop everything and write right now, but I can't. Like I just there's just not that there's just, I'd have to stop what I was doing and the kids are being loud and there's this and there's all these other and it just doesn't work out. And so then I've had to learn to if I have a topic or if I have something that I really want to write down, that I will just pull up my phone, get my phone and write in the notes app and then just write down a couple sentences that will just, so that maybe I can trigger it to go back to it, But yeah, there are things that sometimes when we really want to do something, but life pulls us away, it's finding that balance between, okay, well, where in my life can I go back and take those moments to play?
It's funny because you went right into a bullet point, like one of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's really important, responsibility versus enjoyment. It's just that when you talk about writing, what came to me psychically, intuitively, whatever, that's passion, Catherine. I don't think that's a Catherine thing because I believe, are channels, right, for that inspiration. Like Dr. Wayne Dyer would say, inspiration is when an idea gets a hold of you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You are inspired to do something. Like you might have been cooking and it was like, I really want to write this down, something that came through you, right? You weren't like meditating and focusing, like, I really want to be creative right now. And I I think you might have just gave our show a point. Because I think in that moment, your kids aren't babies. If they
No.
were 2, 3 years old, you can't stop what you're doing. But I think maybe you need to start giving yourself a little bit more permission to, hey, your daughter's name is Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
Can you finish this, like the cooking or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Have them step in maybe a little bit more, because I think you're a gift to the world, your abilities. And I think your purpose is growing within you, the passion, right? Don't you think? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I guess I'm starting to see that the importance, I guess, more of what I do, um, and just how it comes in so much with more clarity. Um, and I guess as I grow into how I see things or how I help people or this or that, that I feel really grateful, and I'm always thanking my guides and these people out here, how grateful I am. But I start to think like, wow, that would be really helpful for this section or that section. And what I've also noticed is that sometimes it doesn't have a name, like as if I would say, oh, let's do chakra balancing or this or that, and then I get in there and I start, looking in their body and looking at their blood and all kinds of things like that, but I don't have a name for that. There's no title for that, you know so but I think with your help and Jeremy and another friend of ours and CB, just that constant being in my corner and sort of, just a gentle kind of go, like now is the time. Um, that I think that all of these, like what we were talking about earlier about bringing people to your table, and it's like other people that sat down at my table are all bringing forward these other gifts that are within me. But it's like it's that time now to unlock those gifts, if that makes sense.
it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. But it does come back to enjoyment and responsibility. The only thing is, as your friend, don't turn it into too much of, yes, it's a great responsibility. Like the work that we do, it's a great responsibility because people, when they meet us, they realize that we're genuine and they pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be on our A game all the time to bring it forward, the best that we can be in that moment, right? So we have to be very authentic and transparent. We don't get a chance to have down days, like, you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah, right.
all the information I told you is bull. You know what I mean? We can't
I
do
didn't
that.
really mean it. It's just like, right? You're like, yeah.
So there is a lot of pressure, but at the same time, we're humans, like we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we chose to be here. But a big discovery is I have a right to enjoy my life. I'm 54 years old, and up until this time, it's been of service one way or another. And I don't think I have ever, maybe as a teen, I lived more for me, but I was always of service. And I feel in such a beautiful, empowering way selfish because it's my time. And even when we had a private conversation, that's what I said to you. I'm working on my relationship with myself, with my body, and letting myself know I got your back. I'm not going to let anybody hurt you. I'm not going to let anybody disrespect you. It's a whole new balance in my life. And I told you it's all about me now. And I don't mean it in a narcissistic way, but it's after 54 years, I think I've earned that right.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I
Yeah.
had an ex-partner say to me, you're the first person that I met that was not the main character in your own life. And I always stuck with me. I wasn't sure what the hell he was talking about, but it's always of service. Are you okay? Are you okay? Is everything going well? And I didn't come up on that list at all. But that's very, very profound. The last relationship I was in, like real relationship, that's what I heard. You're not even you don't have a starring role in your own life.
Hmm.
That right?
So like you're just letting life pass you by. You're just doing it for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get that. I mean, I think that I get that. I think, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, there's so many ways you could go with that because when, especially as a parent, I mean, my kids are 15, 14, and 11, right? So
Well, soon the clock
16,
is turning. Yeah.
16 tomorrow, right?
Happy
And,
birthday, beautiful girl.
but or all of them, like she's definitely coming out of her shell and coming into more of who she is, but there's
Mhm.
still that piece of me that's like, well, the other two are still 14 and 11, and not that I need to plan their days or anything like that, but I want to find more things that we can do together. And it's crazy hot outside, and although it's been raining nonstop, but um, it's hard to step back from being main caregiver. It's
It
hard to
is.
step back from that because there was a point in my life where I was an only parent. So I was taking care of them, and then, the dog, and then, whatever else popped up in my life. And
Mhm.
I always came last. And I think also with any family situation, even at this age of kids, there's still, okay, well, there's the responsibility of, well, we have to feed everybody.
Right.
We have to feed everybody, and we need to go to this person has this appointment, and this person goes and takes violin, and then your spouse, well, what's their schedule like, and are they taking care of themselves, and are you taking care of yourself? There's so many different pieces, then that's where it's definitely, well, again, it's a balance. But I think well, even we could take the example of when I came to visit you. Well, that was my first time, and God bless it, 10 years maybe that I had gone anywhere without the kids, without or even without a spouse. So
But you had done it before?
not, I mean, 10 years probably since I had.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Are you sure you actually got away 10 years ago? Because there was a lot happening 10 years ago.
No, that's true. Maybe it wasn't 10
I
years.
think you're making it up, to be honest with
Right?
you. Just because I know your life, and I'd be very surprised. And let's just put it this way, if you went away 10 years ago, you were not in a space, a mind space to have a good
Right.
time. It would have been about
I
healing.
went to visit a friend in Seattle, and I think my littles, they were little.
Was
But
Pete
that was
alive? I hate to be blunt, but was Pete
right. No,
alive?
no, he wasn't.
So that's what I'm saying. If it was 10 years ago, it wasn't, there's no way it could compare to our time
No,
together.
no, no, right? It's just that, like, I mean, as far as putting in perspective of, I talk to other moms. I talk to other, moms and families and whatnot. And the mom is going, once a month, or they're going, once every couple months. They're having a girls' trip, or they're going and,
Are you
getting
serious? That's
away,
so
or this or that.
cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, or they go with just their spouse, and
Nice.
go and do something. And that doesn't happen for everyone,
No,
you know.
no. That's all I can say. No.
No, it just doesn't
Repeatedly,
happen.
that was not my life when my kids were little. No, at all. But if I do kind of want to get back to responsibilities versus enjoyment, because you brought up a good point. Like he was saying, I want to do things like the responsibility part of like for my children. I have a 14 and 11-year-old.
Mhm.
Okay. Remember we were talking about like experiencing a childhood. Like when my kids were little, it was definitely, I felt like my first childhood, that I was free and stuff like that. And we did so many cool things. So even at that age, like I was able to say, take them to, because we have a lot of beautiful parks in Tampa. I'm very blessed. And yeah, I'm not talking about amusement parks, yes, but
No,
that's
no, but
cool
going to
too.
the
We've
park.
done that too. That's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So we would do balance of going out into nature, having picnics, going to bush gardens, going to the water park, just different things. You have to do something with them, like you're saying, but I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I
So
do.
yeah, so that's the enjoyment part. There's responsibility. Yeah, you're still their mom. And I know what you mean about, okay, the cook as well, right? But I used to use the crock pot a lot so I could go out and have fun all day. And this way you don't have to hit fast food and things like that, just like the night before, get in a habit of taking something out. So I don't have to be a slave in a household. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, right. I totally
So
get that.
there are workarounds, you know what I mean? You just got to be creative or make everything fun. Like even cleaning day, growing up, Saturday was a big day. We would put on the music when I was little, and like it didn't seem that bad to me. You know what I mean? I kind of like cleaning, but to have music on and everybody in the house doing their chores, like you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
mindset, you can make anything fun.
Oh, for sure. It's just that you have to get everybody on board. Just because you set the intention that this is what you want to do and that you want it to be fun, there are other
Right.
people in the house that can bring it down and make it more difficult.
It's unfortunate. You ever hear the term every family has one? You
Oh,
know?
yeah, for sure.
But I know my mom, and she was pretty strict. And if she told you no, like this is the way it's going to go, and then uh, there was a consequence, something would be taken away from us, and she would not budge. She would not budge. That
Right.
does help, like, when people know, like, if you say, "Okay, if you're not gonna do your chores for today, that's it." Like, when she grounded me, it stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even to the point one time I was grounded the whole summer.
Oh my gosh.
I deserved it, but because I had a month grounding at first when school was still in session, and the first day out, I repeated the behavior, and then I got grounded for the whole summer.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Pardon me?
Oh my.
Yeah. The funny part was it came at a perfect time that had I not been grounded, I still wouldn't have gone out. Like something happened in my friend group that I wouldn't have gone out. So I didn't really care.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. It worked in your favor.
It did.
Yeah,
It's just kind of funny. Spirit always took care of me.
that's good.
So, and one of the things we wanted to talk about when we were talking about playing with our kids or playing with our friends, right? Because you and I always joke around like we wish that we lived closer so we could have tea parties and stuff like
Yeah,
that
right. Yeah.
together. And when you were here, we really did not sleep,
Oh
not much.
no.
Like we would,
Well, it was like we played all day long, and then when it was time to hit the hay, like we were just out. I just dropped.
right? Like,
Yeah. Like
oh,
there would be moments where I was like, I'm too tired to brush my teeth. I'm just clothes off in bed. Good night. You know.
we really like. I don't remember the last time I had that kind of fun with another grown up.
Well, we did. So we just laughed. I swear, we just laughed for
We
5 days.
did.
Just
We
laughed 5 days
laughed,
straight.
but we had different adventures together. And then that night with Jeremy was awesome. Like it was just a wonderful. God, I loved it. Like it was your Christmas present, but CB gave us both a Christmas present.
Right. Yes, for
When
sure.
he told me that, I was so thrilled. That was a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am grateful to your husband for sending you my way.
Right. He's amazing. Always like, now that I've done it once, I'm like, I'll just get an airplane ticket.
You
One
know,
time I told him, I said, I'm just gonna go see Danielle.
you
He'll
know,
come
a
home and
one
be like,
thing
bye.
there. you can come see me for like $100 round trip, sometimes Allegiant Air, because I
Oh,
was
really?
tickets to come see you. But you just brought up laughter raises our vibration. It's good for our health. It's just honest to God, like you could be in the throes of grief,
Hmm.
despair. Like I have to. It's funny, but when my dad was dying, it sounds horrible. Like I'm talking about laughter.
Well, there are moments. That's what is the thing about grief, though, is that you have to have these moments, and that's where the joy and the laughter comes out because it's the
Uh,
moments of joy amongst the grief.
yeah, because I think it's just too much. If you don't, some people feel guilty laughing or finding joy in a moment or whatever. But when my dad was dying of pancreatic cancer, I mean, it's a very fast disease and everything. And it I cannot. This is so psychotic, but I can't think about my dad's death. Uh, Like in the beginning, don't get me wrong, I was crying. Like it was like I lost my grandparents when I was 4 years old, but as an adult, yeah, I lost people, but there's nothing quite like losing a parent, a husband like you've had. There's some awful experiences, and knock on wood, I always say I don't want to have that experience. Everybody, like, if your parents lose us before, like if they lose their children,
Oh,
that's
great. Yeah.
horrible. My father was like, they had 7 kids, and he's like, you're not supposed to lose your children. They're not supposed to die before you. And unfortunately, there was several people in my family, like aunts and uncles, that ran in our family that unfortunately they had to have that experience. And again, knock on wood, that's not an experience. I don't put that out there. So, but when my father was dying, again, like I got a big smile on my face. I'm like, but he was so flipping funny. Um, it's just so hard to think about it. One of the things, it was Easter. Now, keep in mind, we didn't know that long. Like, I think we found out in January,
Hmm.
and then he was having tummy issues, as he called it. And then he was gone by Flag Day in June 14th. So it's Easter. My brother comes over with his little kids and his wife, and my sister's sitting there, and we're all drinking coffee. And by that point, he was still out in the living room with us having coffee. And my little niece comes over to show me a picture, right? Now we have like 20 something nieces and nephews, right? So I'm like, I take the paper and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. She's a little girl. And I show my father, look at what so and so drew. I'm not going to use names.
Right.
My father's like so quick witted. He looks at it and he looks directly at me. I'm sitting the closest to him. And he gets a weird look on his face, like a wise guy look. And he's like, he looks at me and he goes, have you been going through my trash again? It took my brain a second because everybody's right there, Catherine. It took my brain a second to realize what the hell this guy is saying to me, and I just lost it. Like, my father was always really, really funny, like the life of the party. Unfortunately, he had his own battles.
Yeah.
So he was either the funniest man in the room or you walked on eggshells, tiptoe, like you don't want to be seen, you don't want to be heard, like get under the radar.
Right.
So he
Exactly.
definitely had both sides. But when he was dying, I think he gave us so many gifts of like that, um, that you can't think of his death without all the shenanigans my father pulled.
Well, and I think that's what they want, though. They want us to think of them more with laughter than with sadness, because and I think it's a really beautiful that you can think of it with laughter. So,
He even asked us for his funeral to laugh and not cry. He asked us to be jovial. And the day of his wake, I mean, I should say wake, that whole thing. The,
right.
the day of his wake, I was in a hotel room, and it would have been the saddest day of my life, right? Like it was the first parent I'm losing, and I couldn't understand it. It was like somebody put a ball of sunshine and my gut, my solar plexus. And I felt overjoyed, like happy and filled with love. And I'm like, what am I, a psycho? My sister was staying at the same hotel and she knocked, came into our hotel room. And I'm like, you're not going to believe this. And she described the same thing. And we just looked at each other and I said, it has to be dad. It has to be. Both of us having that same thing, a ball of light, of sunshine, just filling you up with love and happiness and joy. And that was a wonderful gift that he gave us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it just when you were talking about that, about laughing at weird times, and I think it's just them. I think it's just their personality, or I don't know if it's their way of saying not take everything so seriously, but or if it's just that way of saying, I'm still here, and you need to laugh.
Mhm.
And I was thinking of what you said there was so like it reminded me of when it was a really sad time, right? Because I was 30 and I was pregnant, and it was like the what I forget what it's called when you're at the burial site, and I had just finished kind of talking to Pete essentially, and um, we had all gotten back in the car, and then as we were leaving, there's this statue, right? And it's supposed to be like when you look at the front of it, it's supposed to be like what, the Sermon on the Mount or something, and um, it's Jesus and he has a book, right? But it's a statue, and if you come up behind it, as we were, it looks like it's a statue that's flipping you off.
I
And
wasn't
so,
expecting that.
no, at all. So, but Pete was a trickster. That was one of his things, was that he was always doing stuff. And so, anyway, I'm sitting in the back of the like limo or whatever, and I'm sitting there with my siblings and my stepmom, and I start laughing my head off. And I think they were like thinking, oh my god, she's cracked. The girl's cracked. Like there's so much that she can do, right? Yeah. And I was laughing my head off because that statue looks like it's flipping you off. I mean, it was so hilarious. Now, when you drive up on it, though, you can totally see that it's not. But if as you come up from it from behind, oh, it totally does. And I will still go by there and laugh my head off. So,
I'm just curious, were you the only one laughing?
yeah, because I was the only one that got it.
But you know what? It was your husband.
Yeah,
So
right.
it might have been meant just for you.
Yeah.
So, and think about it. If he was a trickster, from that, I'm guessing he was always trying to make you laugh. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, but he liked to pull pranks on other people too, and
Right.
yeah.
So I could get that, but he was closest to you,
Yeah,
obviously, it's your husband. So for you to be able to laugh in that moment is a huge gift. Huge.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love that because I don't think you've ever told me a story like that. Like,
Well,
because
I had forgotten it until you were talking about laughing at weird times, or like the day, like you said, the day of your dad's service or something, and how you guys felt like just this golden joy almost,
yeah,
and it's just, I think it's just them.
I agree. Um, and I've heard my dad say things to me. It's hilarious. He has a very sarcastic way. He's been on the other side for quite a bit, and but shortly after his passing, I was upset about something, and the lights were flickering. It just seemed like everything was breaking down. I was crying for a couple of days. And all of a sudden, I heard in a very sarcastic tone, "Did you forget what you read?" Because I had recently read something by John Edwards, and how spirits would communicate through electricity and show you signs, and I just was ignoring it. And it was really funny because it was such a sarcastic tone of voice.
Yeah,
And that
right.
was in 2003, and his anniversary just passed June 14th. My sister was asking me questions. Well, she said she feels like my dad's been helping her out and helping the family out. And I said, yeah, I feel it too. And it's funny, once I tapped in, like just thinking about it, my father on the other side, I feel like he's shifted, like spiritually, developmentally. I don't know how to describe it, but he's not in the same place, so to speak. And after I hung up the phone with her, I had a lot to do. And I was like, "Hi, Pop." And I was asking him a question. I had to video record some like commercials or whatever. And I wanted to honor him because it was his anniversary with a little golden pin that I was given. That's his badge, right? He was a police officer, a
Yeah,
sergeant.
that's cool.
And he told me, like, I didn't expect a conversation. And he started saying, "Nah, don't do that." He's like, and he called me my nickname. He called me Yella. And he goes, "No, don't do that, Yella. The climate now with how people feel about police officers, um, you don't want to turn them off." And that was so his phrase, like turn people off. You don't want to turn them off. Don't wear it. If you want to wear it for the second thing, wear it for that one. But this one, and I just was like, it it was so my dad. He's like, because the whole point of this is to create business and you don't want to alienate people. And I just laughed my butt off because you can't make that up. It's not what my head would have thought. I wanted to
Right,
honor my father, and he's thinking business. If
right.
you knew him, it was so like he was a funny. Not that he's trying to be funny, but that would be how he would come off in that situation. It was really hilarious. I don't know how we got off on like.
I don't know, but I was thinking we were talking about joy, though. You know,
You know
it's
what? We
okay
are
to be joy.
laughing though.
And we're laughing, and that's important. You know, this is play.
You know what? It's also what just came to me. It's also important maybe to share this, like because grief, people experiencing grief and going through it, giving themselves permission to laugh because it really is important to think of the happier times. Do you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
a choice. People may argue with me, but I don't think about like my mother's, like, not that I never think about it, but I don't dwell on how she died. Like I was there. Instead, I think of her life and it makes me smile. She's a tough cookie. It makes me happy. With my dad, thinking about like his last 6 months or whatever, he was so friggin' funny and he was trying to prepare us. I always say to people, my mother taught me how to live life and my father taught me how to die, like with
Yeah.
grief and dignity. And I do think it's important for people going through grief to realize if you can steal a laugh from anywhere, do it.
Well, yeah, for
It
sure.
raises your vibration, and it impacts your health, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I really recommend that.
I think it's a I think it's a way to heal too. I mean,
It
it's not
is.
like when you're in deep grief anyway that you're always crying. I mean, granted, there are lots and lots of tears that took place,
Hmm.
but there was still just the regular day to day. How are you going to get through? How
Right.
are you going to get through? And some of that was laughter. It made those 5 minutes easier than the next 5 minutes or the previous 5 minutes.
Hmm. You know, it's funny. You know that I do this frequently. Um, because I had been isolated for a period of time. I always say Phoenix rising out of the ashes. So when I was recreating a new life, one of the things that I started doing, and I forgot how much I liked it in my 20s, comedy clubs.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
God, I
I
haven't been to one of
do
those
that.
in years.
I do that frequently. And I get it's funny because if you're a frequent flyer,
Ah,
you go a lot, you get emails, and sometimes I get to go is inexpensive for the ticket as $5. You know, if I buy it in advance instead of spending the 20 per ticket. So there's certain people that I go with that like to go with me. And it's funny because last time we went was last Saturday, and my friend and I had both had a horrendous week separately in our own stories, a horrendous week. And we were both so tired, but we forced ourselves to go 10:30 at night. She
wow.
drove from North Carolina 13 hours because of traffic. And she still got here right in time for us to turn around and leave. And she wanted to go. She needed the laughter to heal after what she'd been through. I had been through a lot emotionally that week. And I'm like, I'm game. And it was the best thing ever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you don't feel like it. You might just want to go in bed or might want to shudder behind closed doors, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you know what I mean, and going to a comedy club or music. Music is very healing. And it seems like younger people are more apt to go to a comedy club, listen to music. Like sometimes I forget, like I got to do something I don't want to do, but it's more enjoyable if you put on music. That's what I'm saying. The normal, mundane things as in a grown up responsibility, you can make that experience better by doing something like that, right? Playing the
Yeah.
music in the background.
Yeah.
Um, because I think if we can play in our everyday life, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was just, I was thinking that too, is that by making an effort at least to play every day. I
Like
mean,
the intention.
right. I mean, kids do it. They play every day, you know. I mean, sometimes I don't think they're playing because I feel like, they're watching too much TV or, all of those things, but they then other times I'll catch them in quiet moments and they're playing, and that is joyful. So,
Boom. That's it. We're talking about playing. What it's really about is bringing more joy into our lives. What makes you happy? Because it could be playing or maybe reading a novel, maybe watching a movie. Like, I have to give myself permission, believe it or not, to read fluff
mhm, right,
or to watch a movie. Like,
right. To
what
sit
the
still long
hell?
enough to watch a movie. Like you'd actually have to sit still long enough to watch a movie. You'd have to sit down and carve out, like 2 hours or whatever to actually like sit there and watch it from beginning to end.
Yeah, but
Like
what happened to us, Catherine?
I don't know. We got serious.
We get serious. Like, but even like, I feel guilty watching a movie.
Hmm.
Like, or like I'm trying so hard, there's like those two brains. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I chose to be here. This is important. If I just want to sit on my bajukas today, drink my water, watch the sunset, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, honor myself. If I want to eat Thai food like I did yesterday, honor myself. I did my walk, I did my bike. Like, those are fun things for me. I just think our programming is skewed where it's like responsibility. I got to do this. I got to do that. Responsibility,
The
responsibility.
shoulds. The
We
shoulds take
should.
over. The shoulds take over. You know, the the um the shoulds and the expectations of what you expect that your day should be like, or what you set out to be, or
And I think that's where we have to become more childlike. Look at each day as a new experience, which I had gotten really good at that. Looking like what fun things today, what experiences.
right.
And I am so blessed. I love where I live. It's a beautiful community. You've been here.
Yes, there's lots to do there. There's not as I mean, there's stuff to do here. It's kind of I think it's geared either towards real little kids or towards like the 20s, 30, 20 year olds, that kind of thing like that. So,
But I still think it's like whatever we like using our imaginations, giving ourselves permission to play. I feel like I'm going to do a challenge.
awesome. Let's do it.
You know what I mean? To find more joy in each day. For me, it helped years ago. I started doing new experiences. That's how I became pescatarian.
Hmm.
Like first, it was I tried vegan, then I was a vegetarian, and pescatarian. I didn't grow up eating fish, so I was like, okay, let me try fish. You know what I mean? That was huge, huge. If you knew how I grew up, for me to be eating fish, but just trying things out of my comfort zone. Like I never had Indian food. I didn't have Thai till I was like 30 years old. Like just having new experiences, traveling alone. That was huge.
Hmm.
My next challenge, I think this might sound lame. It's been years since I went to a movie by myself. I think it's time for me to go to a movie by myself because I think I've gotten too complacent. I think I'm going to start making myself do things alone again. Like maybe one thing I don't think I've done. I was like years ago, I bought tickets and I couldn't get people to go with me to go to a concert. And it was like to train and stuff like that. I thought, Matchbox 20, fun things. And I had to eat the tickets several times. I don't think I would do that now. I think I would just buy one ticket and just go to the damn concert.
Right? That sounds good. If you're the only one who wants to go. You
But I've
know,
gone to seminars. I think I want to start doing that, raising the bar, like even going to I think I've gone to a comedy club by myself. I've done that. But I want to start doing stuff because I just realized how codependent I am. And it just like surfaced and I'm like, wow, even with an animal like a dog. So I think that's to clear things, the best thing that you can do is like surrender and fall into it. So I think that might be my challenge this summer to
yeah,
do
that's
things
good.
more by myself.
Yes, and I think the other one would be like seeking out joy each day.
Oh,
You know,
that's a, I think I do that though,
you know,
because what did I even say about this show? Like, let's just have fun. Because if I
right.
try to make it like, oh, let's do this really professionally, we'll never get anywhere. Do you
We'll
know what I
never
mean?
get
Let's just
anywhere,
have
right?
fun.
Right. Well, I think there was something called like a joy journal or something, I think,
Ooh,
that people were doing for a little bit. It's kind of like a gratitude journal, but this was all about joy. Like what were the
right.
things that brought you joy at the end of the day and you wrote them down. And so I was like, when we're talking about joy and I think it's important and that maybe I should start one of those. Oh no, that I should. That I will start one of those.
I just
Not
wrote it
sure the
down.
wording, but should is not the right word there. So
I just wrote those two things down. Do things by myself, joy journal. But I think instead of a journal, maybe I'll put a reminder in my phone, do something different, fun today. Because I really have been lately, like doing nice things for myself. Um, you had recommended better sneakers, so I bought those. And then today, like I was doing my deep stuff in the woods healing, and when I got home, I really enjoyed the sneakers. I'm like, okay, I could see the difference with the Asics, not a commercial, no affiliation.
no affiliation. That's right. They didn't pay you
So,
to say that. They're not going to send you A6 shoes. Yeah,
but
no.
I mean, it's so amazing. This is going to sound crazy, but I do my walking healing meditation on all things in my life. When I just in an hour or two this morning, it was like boom. Honestly, an hour. I got a notification in the woods because I was like, I'm not going to read it yet because I want to focus on me. So when I got in the car, one thing happened. Somebody said, can you send me an invoice because a mutual friend owed me money, right? I never thought I'd see it again. The guy paid the guy, and the guy's going to pay me like $120, found money. That's from 2 years ago, if not like 2019 that or 2018. So that's one, when I was done with my meditation. Two, I get a bing Zelle. Somebody all of a sudden it's $162 more in my account. Okay. I forgot. I told somebody to pay me and they forgot. I forgot. They paid
Mhm.
me. Then I get home. I want to buy new sneakers because I'm like, oh, these work beautifully. I was able to walk my hour and a half without pain. I go to buy the sneakers. I'm like, what was that sale? I go on my email.
Yeah.
In January, it says, from so and so, happy birthday. I thought it was bogus. It was a gift card for my sister and her husband from this past January. I'm like, what year was this? It was this past January. So I just bought my sneakers. All I had to pay was $8 for another pair of Asics because my sister had sent me a gift card for my birthday. I had
That's
no
so
idea.
awesome.
So all that within like an hour, found money. That's insane. Like, because I'm
Like
opening,
what happens when we start taking care of ourselves, or what
yeah,
happens?
because you open the door.
Yeah.
So I just want other people to realize that I was out having fun and quite a bit of money came through. And then as I was preparing for this session, I did a quick one earlier. Somebody else booked me. I'm like, I look at my days as play,
Yeah.
even working with clients because I'm doing what I want to do. That's wonderful, right?
Yes, for sure.
So I don't I don't know. I have a blessed life because I'm doing what I want to do. Don't get me wrong, we all have our stuff,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
I don't want to put that message out there. Everything's roses.
Right.
Um,
Just smile. You'll feel so much better.
yeah, I mean, because you know that I've been going through tons of stuff, but I'm standing up for myself, and I am trying to have fun, and it just is amazing to me that I get to have so much fun like every day. And I would love to share this with people so they could enjoy their lives, because I do think there's something to manifesting and creating where you actually enjoy your life. We're talking about bringing more joy in your life. That's step one, right? You raise your vibrations and it helps you to get to other levels. So I think as the show progresses, because I really feel very positive about us working together, I think we're going to be able to help not only ourselves get to spend time with each other, but I think we're going to be able to help people.
And that's always important. I mean, I think as much as we share ideas about things, and even things that plague us, I always find it's refreshing to hear someone else say, I've kind of always had that same thought, but I wasn't really sure that I should say it out loud, or, why does it have to be that way? Or, it would be nice to be able to change thought or of the way that it is either portrayed to us to a way like we talked about last time about having to be a certain way in order to be younger or to be sexy or to be, you know, professional instead of just being our true authentic self, and that there is beauty and grace within that. So,
I agree.
yeah,
I think a big component is being happy,
right. Yeah.
because I think feeling good inside comes out.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? We radiate. Like I said to you earlier, like you're radiating. And as we do that, we're like magnets. We attract people to us, situations to us. So that's like if you can laugh more, find more joy, you're going to be opening the doors to abundance and prosperity to right to you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think as light workers, just from my own experience, but the people that are close to me, we are given a tremendous amount of challenges. And I always felt that that happens. Maybe it's everybody, but I really think like we have quite the resume.
Yes, I think we do too. But
The
we
heartache and stuff like that.
right the
But
sign that, but we're warriors in
we're
life.
warriors, but it also
So
makes us better servants to help other people. Because if we have no point of reference, how can I, you know what I mean? How can I have understanding and compassion?
right, to come alongside someone, you, me,
Mhm,
my children, my husband, my friends, to be able to come alongside and future clients to be able to say, look, I've been in similar shoes. You know,
mhm,
it's hard to pull yourself out of heartbreak. It's hard to fill your love tank when it's empty.
I
And then
agree.
also being able to say there's nothing wrong with being able to say that your bullshit meter is full.
I love it.
You
You know,
know,
it's really funny. I was just thinking, I really love her. Because I was staring at you, I'm like, I really love her.
but by honoring that, you know, that's we need to stop getting to the point where those are too, that the bullshit meter is too high and the love is empty. The joy is empty. The burnout happens here. This is when we should all over ourselves. This is when you know that's and then in those moments we feel bad or feel guilty about going and doing something. Like my one of my things was always talking about was finding your little joys in the day. And
Mhm,
so there would be moments I'd pile toddlers into the car and we would go to Starbucks and I would get a mocha. The anxious should probably not be drinking espresso at 4 in the afternoon, but there was something so fabulous about having a nice warm cup that tastes delicious and I didn't have to make it, you
yeah.
know, and that was a little joy,
Mhm,
you know. But as I moved out of that space and then other responsibilities came in, and then I stopped finding those little joys. And then, there's the bills and there's the where so this is my life now. So like where are you gonna find the clients and to do the stuff and all the stuff, right? But then we lose track of those little joys because of those other responsibilities and money and such like that. So then we think, well, we don't need to take advantage of those little joys anymore because it's $5 for a cup of coffee, you know so
I think there's a reset button too. You know what I
yeah.
mean? and the reason why I say that, it's going to sound silly, but I get very happy when I come into my building and I hit the button and the elevator is waiting for me. That makes me very joyful. The little things in life, it makes me
Right.
very, very joyful. And because of the emotional trauma that I was dealing with last week, I caught myself more than once. I wasn't even aware, I was so out of it, if the elevator was there or not. Didn't even notice.
Yeah, right.
And I caught, after a couple of times of being in that fog, I realized I'm not finding joy in the simple things. I need to reset this. And then I got back because I'm like, this isn't good, because I understood I was upset. But if I can't find joy in little things, I'm going to miss joy in bigger things as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So
It's
I
yeah, because
reset the button.
you're tuning out. You're
Yes.
tuning out to the life around you, and it's just passing you by. And when I was going back to being getting on the airplane was hard to come see you, even though I really wanted to see you. But it was that I was leaving behind almost like all my security blankets, my children and my husband, were
Yeah.
my
I
security
forgot
blankets.
about that.
I had to get on the airplane, fly away from them.
It was a
That
big
was really
deal.
tough. But the reset that took place when I came back and being there, I raised my vibration. I left for 4 days. All the experiences that we had was just no. And I was just thinking, no, not everybody has the ability to just get on an airplane and fly away. They don't. But where in our lives, if we're feeling that burned out, that we're losing and we're hanging around in the waiting room of life and we're not really doing life, then
We're
what is it
not.
that we're going to do in order to get out of the waiting room and back into the joy of life?
You're absolutely right about that.
You know,
Too much of my life, I feel like my adult life, like there was just too many shouldas.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, you're right, Rabbit. You're right. But you and I, we're dangerous because I want our goal is for 30 minutes. It's
I
almost
know,
an
and we
hour.
kind of like,
But I
but
feel
I
like we
swear,
went deep.
well, right, because it was sort of like, it seemed like we were a little squirrel all over there, and then we kind of like found a topic. But hey, that happens, right?
Yeah,
You said before, like, we're just gonna have fun, we're just gonna go with it. So that's what we did.
but I think it was valuable because who needs joy more than the grief stricken, the heartbroken, right? I mean, we all need more joy, but we serve that aspect. I don't think anything is coincidental. I really don't. So I
Mm-mm.
think we did exactly what we were meant to do. And this is probably a good thing for us. Like just have a couple of bullet points and things like that, see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because I think we will be channeling information that needs to come through. So, and think about it, we both have gone through a great deal of loss. And for us to be in a state of mind now where we can laugh and enjoy life and we're looking for the joy, that gives hope to others.
Yes. Yeah. At the bottom,
Yeah, because,
when you feel broken and you feel
yeah.
empty, that
And it could even be divorce, right? It could be anything.
it can be anything. Yes, loss of your job, loss of
Yes,
the life that you thought you were gonna have, loss of
exactly. So,
everything.
but there's always hope, right? If
That's
you
right.
want, but it's like life is like a canvas. I got a painting behind me, but it's like a canvas. So if you don't like the way it is, put a bunch of white on it,
That's right.
and then
Write it out. Try again.
yeah, just create something else. We have that ability. That's the stuff we down the road or whenever it comes. We need to help people to create the life that they desire. That's always my purpose. Because why live a stinky version? Scrap it. You know what I mean?
Right.
This
Or
isn't
well,
working for me.
I also was like kind of that same thought though, as well as when you've gone through something really extreme. If you didn't learn anything on the other side and you can't help someone else, then what was the point of it? What was the point of it?
Not much. And if you didn't have a good time while you're at it,
Right. So, then you didn't learn anything. You
yeah,
can help someone else. And so, all of the crazy that, I've gone through, um, my hope is to help someone else.
I am a firm believer though. Do what you enjoy doing. Like I said, I changed my life when one of my mantras, I want to enjoy every moment of every day. I didn't want to do something for a living that took the life force out of me. And I actually have created this life of where I get to do what I want to do for the most part. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? It really is awesome. But even being of service, don't forget about your needs, because you can't give from an empty cup. It's only from the overflowing of the cup. What's in the cup stays with you. And I think even all of us, like in the metaphysical world, not, you know, doctors, lawyers, whatever, it's always about service, and they forget to enjoy their own lives too often. So we're better no matter what, mother, wife, husband, father, daughter, son, right? We're a better version when we're happy and joyful and we're finding those moments throughout the day. It's better. We're just a better version of us. So I think it's really important to take care of our own needs, to find joy, find a reason to laugh. Because you can find a reason to be sad or you can find a reason to laugh. That's the decision.
Right. Yes. And
So
those mantras of I choose. I choose to be happy. I choose to be grateful. I choose to be.
but it's really about our thoughts. Yes, the mantras help. I like that. But
Mhm.
I can catch myself when I go down that rabbit hole
The
of
rabbit hole.
negativity.
Right. To,
And then it's like, nope,
yeah.
take the wheel back. I'm not going down there. I want to go this way. So it really is a decision. I'm going to make a promise to myself. I believe I have to work tonight because I was going to finish the show and go out. And I'm like, oh, I got another client. But my promise to myself is to find a movie and take myself to the movies tonight.
That's good.
That's cool, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
pouring once again here. There goes the thunder. But but I love you. Thank you so much for your time. You're
No,
such a talented person. Please share your
you.
website. You do pet communication readings. You do mediumship readings. Tell me what you do.
Oh, animal communicator, psychic medium, intuitive readings, chakra balancing, Reiki, integrative energy therapy, and I can't remember. That's
Okay.
enough. That's enough. And it's
And
my products. I have my products as well. So,
what's your website?
thecrazyredhairedlady.com.
I love it. My website. I'm a psychic medium healer. I like to call myself quantum healer because of the spectrum of possibilities. It's like a lasso, pull that reality towards
Right.
you. Creative manifester. And you can find out more about me from the YouTube channel. I create videos to help people how to's on things. It's my way of giving back because sharing knowledge, I feel this information comes through me. I channel. And it's not meant to be hidden under a rock. Only the special few should know this. I don't believe in that. I think we're all meant to be here to live our best life. And my website, the new one, is Divine Messages by Daniela.com. And you can find me under Daniela DeCastro with the YouTube channel. And my purpose here is to help people live, like I said, their best life. And I channel information, and it's for your highest and greatest good. I always tell people you get what you need, maybe not what you want. Because if you're like the heart, sometimes want what it wants, but you get from the highest and greatest good for you. So when I process this, I'll put our websites on it and stuff like that. But thank you, Catherine. I love you. Thank you,
Yes. Thank
everyone in
you,
the
Danielle.
future, for watching us, and many blessings. Bye bye.